Wow! Hi, everyone. This is Jingle Bell Jam. It's a Wow, It's Tuesday television special. You're probably watching it on another day, but that's okay. Usually on Tuesday mornings, we're here at WCPC, and we have Wow, It's Tuesday every Tuesday morning. But I've invited some very special guests with me for the holiday season, and we're going to do a program called Jingle Bell Jam. I got the name right, okay. And I've invited two of my favorite musicians. They are Ed Orgill and Doug Sasanecki. Sasanecki. Scott. I'm going to call him Doug. You see, folks, you know that I call people, whatever I wish. And tonight you're going to be Doug. But you are really Scott Sasanecki. And Scott and Ed are great friends. You're Steve, yes. Frank here is going to ask you a question. Where are you guys from? How do we know you? You look very familiar to me.
Yeah, some people here in Westfield might recognize Scott and I because we play downtown at the Circuit Coffee about once a month. We do a duo down there where we play jazz standards and bluesy renditions of pop tunes for a couple hours, usually on a Saturday afternoon at Circuit Coffee. And it became a thing up until COVID-19, and I haven't played a gig in 6 months, and Scott and I we're just dying to get out and do some playing, and so this opportunity came up. We thought it'd be good to come in and play some stuff.
Well, let's get to it. Jazz is one of my favorite mediums, and I really love this music. So what are we going to play? You're going to start with an old Christmas song, I think, yeah?
Yeah, and Scott came with this great arrangement of "Old Christmas Tree," and we kind of threw it together last week. I headed over to his place, and we threw it together. So let's see if I can remember what we were doing and play this version of "Oh Christmas Tree" that Scott and I put together.
Terrific, everybody. "O Tannenbaum," "O Christmas Tree," as played by Ed Orgill and Scott Sasanecki. Oh, terrific, terrific. Ed Orgill and Scott Sasanecki. Scott, I loved that arrangement, and I wonder if you could tell me, how do you go about arranging a jazz tune?
You just hear something. I mean, music is a combination of rhythm, melody, harmony, all those things, and without having some sort of direction, you can't come up with anything good. So you got to fill yourself with ideas and try them out. Trial and error. You may fall on your face sometimes, but you piece things together as they work, and you dismiss them when they don't.
Is there a structure to a jazz tune in a particular way? You know, Ed, you want to take that?
Yeah, most music that people play jazz on does have a form that we're following. Like this last tune that we played does, you know, what we're doing, we're playing around within the confines of the harmony and melody of that song. So and each time through the tune is called a chorus, right? So, and usually what happens in a jazz performance is you perform the melody, and then you improvise a new melody within the song, within that form. And most of the time there's form, although there's styles of jazz and things where it gets a little bit more eclectic and improvisational too. But most of the time there is a form. Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to play for me a standard that I've always loved. You Stepped Out of a Dream. You know, there are Christmas songs that are written for Christmas, and then there are songs that are written for other times, and I think You Stepped Out of a Dream is a perfect Christmas song. And it's written by Nacio Herb Brown and Gus Kahn. And so let's listen and see if we can pick out the structure of this in this song. Okay. Gotcha. You Stepped Out of a Dream, everyone. Ed Orgill, Scott Sasanecki. such a great holiday gift. Gosh, well, and speaking of gifts, were you given the gift of music early in your life, Ed? And Scott, you might answer that question as well. I'm just wondering.
I can answer that.
You can, yeah.
Music for me growing up, just, it seems like such a long time ago. Technology and everything being what it is, but just sitting on the floor and listening to the radio, turning the station, having to do it yourself instead of, TV controls and everything.
Sure.
There's something about that the inquiry, looking through records, reading what's on the back of a record, starting to understand, oh, who's this artist? Who's that artist? And really that's where it started with me, just going into my folks' library and looking at all the albums and listening to story time.
Where'd you get your first guitar? Did you buy your first guitar? Your parents buy your first guitar?
My first interaction with a guitar came from my neighbors across the street. There were two boys that were a few years older than me, and they both had an acoustic guitar, and their father had one. And so I used to go over there and hang out, and they would show me little things that they knew. And then I bought my mother bought me a Kent guitar. It was a beater, but it was just an acoustic guitar. And I had a guy named I believe his name was Messina, Jim Messina maybe. He used to come to the house on a motorcycle with his guitar strapped to his back, and he would show me the chords. We'd sing the tunes, Gordon Lightfoot or whatever. And,
oh gosh, yeah.
And just learning how to actually make music, just doing it together was a blast. I mean, it was just like we instantly made music, and so it wasn't academic at all. It wasn't academic until kind of later on when I wanted to know more about things. But we had a piano in the house. It was an old spinet piano, and we had, I'd go over there all the time. And my family played very little. I think my mother played Autumn Leaves, and my dad knew just a little bit, but I went and learned how to play by ear just from sitting at the piano.
Wild.
And eventually my mom got me a snare drum. Of course, that drove everybody nuts, but I remember having the snare drum and then taking every trash can in the house and, making my own drum set and just kind of learning how to.
Every parent's dream to have their kid on
stepped out of a dream
at Christmas, yes.
You stepped out of a dream. So
yeah.
That was it for me. I mean, it was just, it sort of started the adventure, and then I just listened to everything. I listened to everything. I really, I think I had a guitar teacher named Ken Hall. Ken Hall used to work at Music Men, and he moved out of the area a long time ago, but he was a great guitar player, and he started to show me different kinds of music. And from the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, I started listening to all kinds of stuff, John Scofield and Mike Stern and Miles Davis. And
well, you've really, and now people are listening to you and saying, that's a Scott Sasanecki, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, my parents gave me the accordion. I'm telling you. At any rate, when was the last time you asked me to play the accordion, Ed? Oh, yeah, you can't recall. Well,
but I'm asking you now.
No,
so next time I see you and you have it, I want to hear you.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, yeah.
I heard an amazing. I mean, it's an amazing instrument.
Oh, it's a great instrument. It's I wanted to play the piano, and they couldn't afford a piano, so they gave me accordion. Now, how did you end up on the woodwinds of all things?
Look, I have the public schools to thank for my, I'm the only one of 4 kids. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and I'm the only one of the 4 of us that didn't take piano lessons when we were children, right? So I had no exposure to music really, other than that. My mom played piano by ear a little bit, and my brothers and sisters kind of, learned to play piano when they were children. But it didn't stick, and they didn't invite. And part of the reason I didn't go to piano lessons is because my mom was tired of dragging them to piano lessons when they were little, right? So by the time I came around, she'd kind of thrown in the towel. And so when I was in 5th grade, there was, you know, our local music educator, you know, the elementary music educator. There's usually one that kind of travels around from elementary school to elementary school. We have one here in town. I don't remember who's doing that.
The traveling music.
Yeah, they travel from one elementary school to another, and they have this little petting zoo, musical petting zoo. Right? And
so you get to pet a clarinet.
Kinda, yeah. when I was in 5th grade, I saw the saxophone, and it was, you know, still credit to my mom, because, you know, it seemed like I went home that day when I saw the saxophone, and I told her that I wanted to play it, and I think it was the very next day there was one there. Right?
Unbelievable. Well, let's hear your sax. You're playing. Which sax are you playing today?
Well, I got 2 here. This is the soprano saxophone here on the one I started out with. I'm going to switch over to the tenor, and that's the one that most people are used to seeing. I think, you know, Clarence Clemens and you know, the one that we see in popular music a lot is the tenor. And I think we're going to play another standard.
Yes, you are. You're going to play. I asked you to play a Cole Porter tune. So we are. Yeah. I'm trying to find a hook for the holidays for Love for Sale, and I'm thinking, well, we all need a little love today. So I'm going to look for a sign, and I'm going to buy some love to give to everyone out there. And you're going to play Cole Porter's Love for Sale on that guitar and that sax. What kind of guitar is that you're playing there, Scott?
This is a Hofner. It's the same kind of bass that Paul McCartney played.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
It's a German-made company, German-made guitar. They make great instruments.
I gotcha. All right, let's hear Cole Porter's Love for Sale. my gosh, you were cooking there. Is that the expression, cooking?
Yeah, we were cooking.
You were cooking, yeah. I got to say, it's interesting when you're listening to a jazz song, how it builds and builds and builds, and then folks get into the groove, and man, that was so in the groove. What do you think?
Yeah, we got there eventually.
Yeah,
yeah. Jazz is definitely something that's of the moment, and I one of the reasons I love playing with Scott is he's just he's so full of ideas, and sometimes it's he gives me something to work with, and that's what we were doing at the end there, because we didn't know how we were going to end the tune really, and so it's really fun to play. Usually in a coffee house setting, it's a lot less. I think permanent than this.
Oh,
right?
gosh,
so like,
yes.
so we can sit in the coffee
we are
house
now and forever.
And we can experiment and kind of walk away with our successes and love it. It's interesting you say cooking, because on the way here today, I heard the origins of that.
Yes,
and it used to be cooking with gas. And it used to be, this is 100, 200 years ago, before people started having gas piped into their house. They used to cook on wood stoves, right?
Yes.
So once gas started coming, and I suppose it happened out here in on the East Coast first, right, where they started piping gas to people's homes so they could have a stove in their home where they didn't have to chop the wood for it, right? It was now we're cooking with gas. Because now we're cooking, because now we don't have to chop wood to cook so now we're cooking, and the term we're cooking, they dropped the with gas, but now it's, to be cooking means to be, I mean, that's where the origin, that's the origin of that.
Well, I was gassed up there in a lot of ways. Honest to God, I'm telling you, it was terrific. Hey, we're winding down, and I thought, what's a holiday program without the Christmas song of the holiday season? And you're probably going to think that I'm going to play, or they're going to play, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, the Christmas song. No. This is that old German carol, Stille Nacht. Stille Nacht. How do you say it in German, Ed? Do you know?
It's very difficult.
Yeah, but it's Silent Night. And, I think when I hear you playing this, I think of a warm winter night, and boy, you've given us some great music tonight, and I just love it, and I'd love to hear your version of Silent Night. All right. Oh my gosh. You know, I feel like going home, lighting a fire, and having a glass of wine, and just remembering that version. Oh, it's so magical, so snowy, magical, just wonderful. Hey, I want to thank you guys, and I wondered if folks wanted to study with you. I know, Dr. Ed Orgill, you're at Westfield State, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I teach saxophone and a little bit of jazz at Westfield State University. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And you are a doctor. You are
yeah.
yeah. I've got a pain
you can't
in my
actually
left
get
shoulder.
a doctorate. You can get a doctorate in saxophone performance, but strangely enough, it's a kind of a classical music degree, so
I love it.
A little bit of music history, and a dissertation about this jazz saxophonist.
And we work together all the time, Ed and I, because he is on the board of Westfield on weekends, and that's how we see one another regularly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Scott teaches in the area too. And I highly recommend any young guitar players that are looking for a good teacher. This is
Scott Sasanecki, right? Scott, are you from Northampton? Where are you from?
I live in Suffield, Connecticut.
Suffield.
Born in Springfield, but kind of stuck around the area.
I gotcha. Well, we wish you and your families the happiest of seasons, and you've given us an evening of music that I'll cherish. And I thought that why don't we go out? We call this show Jingle Bell Jam. So we started with Jingle Bells, and the sandwich of the Jingle Bell Jam in the middle will end with Jingle Bell Jam, Jingle Bell, played by two of the area's finest musicians, Ed Orgill and Scott Sasanecki. Hey, everybody, I loved having Wow, It's Tuesday at night, and I invite you to watch us on Tuesday mornings on WCPC. Here are the guys. Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Decemberfest, everyone, and Happy Hanukkah. See you soon.